All right, we back at it with another What's Hot segment. The continuation continues. You know what I'm saying? This one is going to be about Luis, Mr. King Kong, the real King Kong, Ortiz, knocking out Bryant Jennings in 7. Hell yeah. Just like Donkey. Motherfucker kind of look like Donkey Kong too. All right, so we didn't do a prediction video on this. That's our fault. We didn't do a prediction video on the Lee Saunders fight either. That's our fault again. Yeah. But I was vocal on different forums, different boxing communities on social media. And I said that Luis Ortiz would win the fight. I didn't have Ortiz by knockout. But I had Luis Ortiz winning the fight. My man Sess had Luis Ortiz winning the fight as well. We both said Bryant Jennings will give him problems. That's exactly what kind of happened in the beginning of the fight. Bryant Jennings gave him a little bit of problems on the inside, being the tough Philadelphia fighter that he is. But Luis Ortiz did exactly what I said in one particular forum. Actually, I said verbatim that Bryant Jennings is one of my favorite heavyweight fighters, but he's fighting a guy who's really big. He's a southpaw. He comes from the Cuban school of boxing. He sets up everything with his jab, and he has excellent power. All of those came into play in this fight. His jab was excellent in this fight. He set up numerous combinations with the jab. The knockout blow was Bryant Jennings sitting on the inside, not working. You know what I'm saying? Got hit with 2 left uppercuts. Oh, goodness. Left uppercuts being his strong hand. Yeah, you know, straight bolo punch, B. those are his. That's from his strong side. He's a southpaw, right? 2 left uppercuts. The second one pretty much put Bryant Jennings face first on the mat. Looked like my man, you know what I'm saying, suffered from long time insomnia and shit. My man knocked out. Nigga sleep. You know what I'm saying? Got right back up, got knocked down again, or was on the verge of getting knocked down again. It was an excellent fight. Luis Ortiz is a major motherfucking player. People, I don't want to hear no bullshit about Bryant Jennings being a bum. That motherfucker is easily top 5, one of the best heavyweights in this division right now. And Luis Ortiz went in there and made him look like he was pretty much amateurish up to the 7th round. So that tells you how much skill Luis Ortiz has and how much of noise he can make in this division. What do you think, B?
Oh man, I agree 100%, man. He looked very good. Bryant Jennings, I would say for the most part, he was pretty game. You know, he was really trying. It's just some of his flaws really show. You know, Jennings, to me, I've never been high on his punch output. You know, I think he could have a better output because really and truly, Bryant Jennings can fight whatever way he wants to fight. That's the one thing that I like about him. If you tell him to come forward, he can come forward. You know, if you want him to box, he does have a good enough skill set to where he could actually box you. The only thing about Bryant Jennings is that his output, man, it's not enough. If you're gonna be an inside fighter, you're gonna have to be throwing over probably 70, 80, 90 punches around. I mean, you really have to work a guy.
You got to supplement for being hit, because when you're on the inside, your defense it goes down handily. So you got to supplement for being hit by throwing a magnitude of punches, a large magnitude of punches.
Absolutely. You have to keep boxing lesson 1-on-1 for you fellas out there. You got to keep the guy in front of you hands at bay. Yeah. So when you're fighting the guy inside, what's gonna make him keep his hands at bay, or what's gonna make him keep his hands up?
Volume.
Exactly. Yep. You gotta have fucking volume. And there were times where Bryant Jennings was just standing in front of Luis Ortiz, and he was in the inside. Yep. Luis Ortiz is a great boxer. Like 2K said, he comes from the Cuban school of boxing. He knows if you're not working, that's enough time for me to process what I need to do. Mm-hmm. So what does he do? Bryant Jennings is not working. He steps back, throws one uppercut. Bryant Jennings is still not working. After that first uppercut, he's still not working. So what does Luis Ortiz do? He throws the same exact punch to another one that landed flush. I thought the motherfucker was was stiff.
Yo.
You know, I thought he was asleep. You know, rigor mortis had settled in. The coroner was gonna come pick him up, take him to the morgue. That's what he looked like.
Oh.
But you know, I'm gonna give Lewis, I'm gonna give Brian Jennings some props for the most part. He did an okay job, man. I still think that Brian Jennings is learning on the go. He only has 17 amateur fights, I believe. So I still think he's learning on the go, man. And he's been in there with some tough competition. You know, Klitschko, Luis Ortiz, who had 350 amateur fights. So I'm going to give him his props and say, hey, you know what? For him to walk into the flames, he got burned. But at least he was trying to put the fire out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and one more piece of advice to you guys out there. When you're fighting a power puncher, go ask any of the great trainers. When you're fighting a power puncher, I keep saying this with guys like Gennady Golovkin, I hate to bring his name up. But when you're fighting a power puncher, man, you don't, and you on fire, you don't run. What does running do when you're on fire? It increases the flames, and you eventually gonna burn up real quick, right?
All right.
So you never run from the flame, okay? Sometimes you gotta go into the fire and you gotta fucking smother it. That's what you have to do. You gotta put a blanket on that shit, and you gotta smother it.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Jennings, I felt, did have a good game plan. John David Jackson did send him in there with a good game plan. Luis Ortiz has long arms. He needs space and room to punch. So if you get on top of him, you decrease his arm length and you make him keep his hands inside. And now he's got to resort to throwing short shots.
Yep.
But the key to that is staying fucking busy. You gotta stay busy. So that's the thing, man. Me personally, I believe that's the way to beat Gennady Golovkin. Is you either gonna push him back or you gonna stay on top of him.
Body work too.
Oh my God, absolutely. 2K, I don't even want to throw the punches in there. You know, let me just give him the strategy. You know, but man, you know, so Jennings did okay. He did okay, but man, my hats off to Luis Ortiz. I don't see anybody beating him right now. I'm gonna definitely side with 2K on that. I don't see nobody beating him, and that's including Deontay Wilder. And
Oh,
Deontay,
shit. The spokesman?
Yes. I'm gonna catch some flack for that, man. But nah, man, he's too good of a boxer. He's an extremely good boxer, and he hits like a fucking cannon. So, nah, man.
One more point I want to make before we move on to the next topic. Luis Ortiz, with this win, he's now the WBA mandatory. WBA champion right now is Ruslan Shagayev. Luis Ortiz is, so basically when Luis Ortiz is the next WBA champion, right? Because it's only a matter of time. He about to knock that motherfucker cold out. So when Luis Ortiz becomes a WBA champion, what's next? Does Deontay Wilder duck him? Does Tyson Fury duck him? I think he's gonna be that wild card in the heavyweight division where motherfuckers are gonna try their hardest to not fight him. He's gonna be the workhorse. He's going to be the guy that's going to have to beat all comers, whether there are the best contenders out there like Erkan Tepper. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to beat those guys, all right, and keep winning in order for a mandated fight to happen between him and maybe Fury and Wilder. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
My bad, 2K. One more thing. I would like to see him fight Povetkin.
I think he fucking knocks him the fuck out, dude.
I think so too. But I want to see him fight Povetkin. You know, Povetkin knocked out one of his Cuban, one of his Cuban buddies. Yep. I would like to see that fight, man.
Yeah, that's a good fight, and it's a good little redemption thing for Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
But I strongly feel he's probably going to have to fight him. He's going to have to fight all the best fighters in the division because he's going to be that wild card. He has the least clout. He's going to have the least clout of all the champions. So, and then he's going to have the least, one of the least prestigious belts. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he's not going to be,
sought after by anybody.
Exactly, yeah. Those fights would have to be mandated. They would have to be made, mandatory. by one of these sanctioning bodies in order for me to see Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury in the ring with this beast, man. I don't see it. Next topic. So, oh man. Joshua Clottey. Now, on the same undercard as this fight, a lot of people don't know when this fight was happening. A lot of people were sending messages asking if I knew when the fight was going to start. I told them it was on the undercard, but it probably won't be televised, so you can't stream it, can't watch it on HBO, can't do shit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys an update. Gabriel Rosado beats Joshua Clottey by unanimous decision, and basically this is the update. It's going to be real quick. The reason why Gabriel Rosado won, because Joshua Clottey reverted back to the old Joshua Clottey that we know him as. The one that fought Manny Pacquiao and the one that fought Miguel Cotto. So if you remember those fights, what did he do in those fights, people? This is what he did for 10 rounds. This right here.
Josh.
Didn't throw any punches, low output. Gabriel Rosado was just working him, wasn't really hitting him with too much. It wasn't like Rosado was beating the shit out of him. He just outworked him, just like what Manny Pacquiao did, just like what Miguel Cotto did. They outworked him because he didn't have any type of volume, a very low output. It's disappointing because we thought this would be a different Clottey when he beat the shit out of Anthony Mundine in Australia. Knocked him down something like 5 times. He was an aggressive fighter in that fight. We all thought that he would be that guy now at this point in his career, even to the point where when Canelo was talking about picking him as an opponent, he ended up picking James Kirkland. But before James Kirkland, he was talking about fighting Joshua Clottey. A lot of people, and I will say, even a guy, shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation, he even said that he feels Joshua Clottey could beat Canelo or at least give him problems.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, and that just stemmed from the idea or what we saw against Anthony Mundine. But looking at how he fought Gabriel Rosado, he would have got killed by Canelo, and it would have been another bullshit fight for Canelo. So I'm glad that fight didn't happen. Joshua, man, if that's how you're gonna fight, you need to go ahead and hang him up, B.
Man, please, quick.
Real talk. Alright, Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube. Facebook, Google Plus, all of y'all.
Yeah.
That's gonna be it for this segment. Do what you do in the comment section, will be real. This is real talk for real fans.